Welcome back, dear listeners, to the Ghost Queen's House of Horrors. Today, we have a creepypasta called Godless Acres. I don't know what I saw in that damn chapel. I don't even know if it was real or not. I sure as hell hope not. But I came in here to tell my story. Maybe somebody could help me. Maybe just telling it will make me feel better. Help me sleep. Stop the hallucinations. Well, at least that's what my therapist thinks. I was driving to the family reunion from New York City a couple years ago. My sister was getting married soon. We decided to spend some time together in her family home in Casper, Wyoming. So I packed my bags, hopped into my old reliable green Chevy CK, and took off into the night. Long night drives were not that uncommon for me. I like them. Helps me think and talk to my inner self. Certainly beats the noise and rush of New York. Damn. Sometimes I miss the calming embrace of Wyoming, but this calm would be short-lived. It was 3 days into my drive when I think it happened. Somewhere around the border between Iowa and Nebraska. I tried to look for it again. I did, but I couldn't find the fucking place. Maybe it's for the better, come to think of it. There was some construction accident on the freeway. But I wasn't meant to keep going that way. I decided to take some back roads that my phone suggested instead and weave through the empty yellow and brown expanses. Thought it would be better than sitting in some shit diner on the side of the road, or even worse, doubling back. Rural roads were still good and firm, even though ever since the morning clouds promised rain. However, the further I went, the darker the sky had gotten. It turned from ashen gray to heavy dark lead. The rolling in clouds churned and swirled as if some unseen hand washed its paintbrush in a glass. I was ripped from my daydreaming when I got to the crossroads and noticed that both my GPS and cell service went down. It was nothing but static and error messages. The sun had already vanished behind the clouds, and thick shadows consumed everything from one horizon to another. The only reminder of this being daylight was a soft spotlight of light high up in the sky. Then lightning struck something in the distance. Again, closer and closer. And my car died. It just fucking turned off. Maybe it got scared. Maybe I did too. It was fucked up. I tried to start it up again and again. When I heard that sweet noise of my carburetor running, my radiator blew up almost instantly. I tried to fix it, but I couldn't without my tools. Stuck at that damn crossroads. I tried to search for a local tow company, but the cell service was still down. So I decided to climb out of my car and look over the endless maze of corn for someone or something. There were no cars, no people, no towns nearby. Only the this one thing. It was old, run down, paint peeling off, like a pale, long forgotten, rotting corpse that surfaced in a sea of yellow. And its flickering light from the inside called to me like a beacon. It felt like it shouldn't have been there, yet it was. So I decided to take my chance. My bag, my handgun, and look for some help there. I almost got lost while trying to find my way to that chapel. The only sounds there were the rustling of the corn, the crunch of dirt under my shoes, the creaking of the rotten wood that was my compass. No birds, no bugs, no other little critters, nothing. Nothing except that smell. Icky, hot, sweet and sour. Like from a compost dump or a roadkill. It came and went like a wave. I think I hear some rustling nearby, but when I tried to stop and check for it, there was only silence. When I came out of the corn maze, I finally took a closer look at the place. It was certainly old as shit. Colonial, maybe? Hinges rusted off. The windows were shut and boarded up. Little light peeking through the broken stained glass. Wooden crosses broken halfway and missing the rest. But what captured my attention was a scarecrow. I think I didn't see it from the roof of my car. It was strung up nearby, high up, right on the edge of the cornfield. It wore a stained, ragged patchwork coat and a torn, wide-brimmed hat that covered its face. It was put up kind of limp and finished disproportionate. Its long, crooked limbs jutted out like they had been broken and reset wrong. It looked whoever built it gave up halfway through, like it was waiting to be finished. Well, it definitely fell off. I still decided to call for somebody. Silence was my only answer. Once more, I breathed out, switched off the safety of my handgun, and headed into the chapel. I don't like churches or chapels. The last time I was in one, it was my dad's funeral. I hesitated at the threshold. My foot hovered just above the worn step. Something in me screamed not to go further. Not yet. I breathed in, and the air was thick, old, and it called to me. I stepped in, and the door moaned behind me. Shadows clung to every corner like old secrets too bitter to stay buried. The air was cold, but not empty. It pressed on my skin like I'd slipped into a mouth that hadn't been closed in centuries. The chapel wasn't abandoned. It was patient. What little light was outside shined through the broken windows like spear shafts stuck in the floor. One particular thing caught my eye, one stained glass that was not broken completely. It depicted broken, dry land with an eclipsed sun and black clouds above from which a pale, malformed figure descended. It was grotesque, yet somehow beautiful. I can't explain it. I just felt the unholy reverence. It held power, and I felt small before it. I moved in slowly, disturbing layers and layers of dust that disdained me for it, floating past broken down pews and chairs. It was a simple house of worship, at least in its most basic details. Crumbled to dust leaves filled the aisle between the pews as if it was my own personal carpet. Something snapped above me, but I couldn't see through that thick, inky darkness. I froze. Even my breath was halted. Though I was almost too certain something was breathing with me. Too rhythmic to be of wind, but it went up too quickly to say for certain. I don't know how much time had passed before I continued moving toward the flickering lights, measuring every step, and at the end of the row, right by the altar, there was a circle of lights, candle lights. As I stepped forward, looking and checking around, I saw the picture better. It was a circle of dying candles. Strange bags and rags were thrown around it. Dark paint stained the floor, some of it patterned, some smeared like panic. Like someone tried to write something down in a hurry, but it wasn't writing. Or at least it didn't look like any writing I knew. Then I felt that same strange smell again and decided to look at those bags closer. It would have been better if they were bags. Decomposing corpses covered in some fabrics. Composed. Composted. The second fucked up circle. Torn, shredded, some missing limbs, some skinned, big and small. What connected them all? They had no faces. Just smooth, leathery masks. I wrenched in the realization and stumbled backwards. I heard something like a branch snap in the yard. Then the lights went out, leaving me alone in the shadows. I cried out that I was armed and didn't want any trouble. I pointed my gun towards the only door and moved slowly toward a nearby pew to take cover. The smell became almost unbearable at this point. That's when I caught something rushing past a broken window in the corner of my eye. I shot several times, but it was dead quiet again. I cried out to anyone out there to stop fucking around, that I didn't want anything to do with whatever I found here. I just wanted to go home. Nothing. Once more I saw a shadow by another window, and once more I sent some more bullets that way. That's when I heard something descending fast upon me and fired into the hungry shadows above. I ran as fast as I could toward the door and busted through the rotten wood, breaking the remaining hinges. I felt a sharp sting slash across my back, like a blade grazing just deep enough to hurt, but not kill. I didn't look back. I couldn't. I got up and continued running toward my car. Looked back, but there was nothing there. Something still gnawed at me. Something felt off. I had no time to sit there and think. Tall walls of corn were all around me, and that suffocating smell just stuck with me. Felt like someone or something was chasing me. At one point, I think I saw a shadow running not that far behind, but it just disappeared as fast as it came. Fuck that. I decided to run towards the setting sun and never look back. I tumbled onto the road and pressed my gun against my car. I pointed the gun towards the corn. I sat and waited and waited. Nothing. Even the smell was gone. It's like nothing ever happened. Except me. Then I heard an engine roaring somewhere down the road where I came from. Someone else also took the back roads, saw the smoke, heard my gunshots. And I probably looks like a crackhead, rambling some nonsense. I tried to get them to take us away. I tried to show them, to tell them. When I climbed up again, there was only nothingness for miles. What was even stranger, my car was alright. Only some minor issues with the carburetor, but nothing too out of the realm of possibility. I'm thinking a lot about that day. Everyone says it's just my tiredness, nerves from work, too much caffeine, or even the devil's lettuce for some fucking reason. They said everything was just made up in my head, that my missing bullets were nothing to worry about, and I was probably shooting into nothing. They cut in my back. Another doctor said it could have been barbed wires, maybe from the cornfield. Some family friends suggested I'd fallen onto the old farming tool. Nobody had a real answer. They all seemed too eager to not think about it. My therapist tried to rationalize it too. I'd want that too, but I just can't. There are just things in my head that I can't get out. The cut on my back still hurts. Sometimes it feels like it burns. I don't know what I saw in that damn chapel, but I know what I didn't see. When I ran, Scarecrow's post was empty. Alright, dear listeners, that is the end of today's reading. Tune in next week for another special episode. Sweet nightmares. And good night.